Hey everybody, Car Dreamer here, coming at you on behalf of D Class and all things D Class related. Welcome to the second episode of the D Class side of the podcast. Every week, I'm going to be alternating from D Class to Derailed. This way, it keeps things fresh. It gives both sites content, and like I said, it just allows me to have fun keeping it mixed up and not going through burnout in that regards. I do want to thank the feedback I got from the first one. Thank everybody. Uh, Dace over at Stonebeak Productions and Schmoptopia sent me a voice message, which was very much appreciated. Other people left feedback on my Twitter, which was equally appreciated. It means the world to me that you guys took the time to listen. This is something I'm definitely new at, and I hope you guys are all enjoying them. With that being said, let's move on to today's discussion, which is going to be remasters. I feel like this generation, there's a little bit of it in the last one, but there's a ton this generation. And it kind of bothers me. And I don't even know if it would have taken off as much as it did if not for the Nintendo Switch. I think Nintendo hitting the market it did opened the doors for people, or for game companies, I should say. And we'll get into that too, because I'm not dumb what businesses are doing, and it's a shame that the market out there for Nintendo Switch is being taken advantage of the way it is. So I want to give examples of good ones and I want to give examples of bad ones. And please keep in mind, I don't trying to avoid, even though some may be called remasters, they're not. And I want to stick to the true definition of remaster, which is you take the game, the original game, and you're cleaning it up, cleaning up the graphics, adding some new assets, but you're doing it within the base of the original game and code. You're not rewriting it from the ground up. So examples of ones that I don't count: DuckTales Remastered. Don't count that. That was an NES title. Very well, one of the most popular NES titles there ever was, and they did an amazing job with their. They are calling it in the title remaster, but it's not a remaster. It's completely built from the ground up, faithfully and lovingly to the original, but all new graphics, voice acting, prologue. It's the whole works. There, it's not the same game. It's not using the original, so that's not really a remaster. Same for Crash Bandicoot. They already admitted they were rebuilding the game. They didn't have the original code; it was lost. Spyro. Um, these are just a couple of examples of things that are they're not real. They're not remasters. They're remakes, and that's fine. Link's Awakening for the Switch remake. It's not the original Game Boy title. So, having said that, that's why they're not being put on this list. I'm not saying they're good or bad. I'm just saying that's why they're not on the list as far as remasters go. So things I consider remasters, which are remasters. New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. We're gonna start simple. Can, Aside from the fact that they added a character and a power up, do you visually see any difference between that and the original Wii U? Nintendo, to an extent, I can understand why Nintendo's doing it. The Wii U had some great games, but the system didn't do that well. So the games didn't get out to the masses. The Switch is huge popular. This is a great way to introduce new people to games titles that they may have good game titles that they may have missed on a system that didn't do well. Kind of similar to Dreamcast. It was a great system with great games. It just came out at the wrong time. The Wii U was in the same boat, but that's a different topic. So even though I can understand why they came out, I feel like there wasn't enough to warrant a full price title for this. Another example of one I question: Prototype 1 and 2. They released those as remasters. And honestly, I couldn't tell you a difference between them and the original 360 and PS3 version. But they were just cheap cash grabs, in my opinion. Now, if you honestly see the difference and you felt it was money well spent, power to you. And I'm not trying to take that away from you. But to me, I just didn't see it. It just wasn't there. Um, say Dragon Quest 1 and 2. And well, actually 1 through 3 is on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Honestly, I don't think they look good. That's my opinion, but I feel like Nintendo knows these are cash grabs. Any company, I should say Nintendo. The companies who make them know these are cash grabs. People are going to bank on your nostalgia and get them. And I feel like the reason this is such a prominent and easy thing to do is because I don't feel like there's been a huge amount of titles like there was the last gen that were popular, great, and people loved and raved and wanted. But people are upset with big companies, EA, Activision. People are just not happy with these companies. So what do they do? So these companies put out quote unquote remasters to old games, and people are like, oh yes, now that was a good game. Let's just go back and play. It's like they're going back and playing. They're banking on your nostalgia to get your money. It's limited effort for them. They don't have to use too many. They don't have to rebuild the game. It's all there. Minimum effort, maximum payout. Uh, you know, the Bioshock 1 through 3. Now, granted, I didn't get a chance to play the remasters yet. Don't know if there's a huge difference because to me, those were beautiful games just on the 360. Beautiful. I don't know though. So if they're that beautiful, is this gen really making it worthwhile? Think so. Those are just examples of some of the ones that I feel like are questionable. Um, and there's another aspect that I want to get. I'm going to kind of put the Nintendo Switch aspect to it at the end of the discussion because I feel that's going to get into something bigger, which will be a whole nother discussion. But I want to touch on it now and have a bigger discussion later. Um, but some good remasters that I think made a difference. Xenoblade Chronicles, Definitive Edition. I mean, talk about. I mean, the original one looked really good on the Wii, right? And that's only it was at 480. This looks, oh my gosh, blows it out of the water, and it looks good. That I can understand because you went up a few generations, couple generations, and you went up huge resolution. Like this one's that is what I think is worth it. And I think that's something to developers need to keep in mind is how far back to go. Something from the previous generation to me hardly seems warranted. You go back 2 generations or so, then you've got something. Another amazing example is Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate for the Switch. Oh my gosh, did Capcom just go all out on this one? This was a 3DS game that they ported and added so much to. I mean, they didn't just remaster it and make it look good for the Switch. They built upon the content and it gave you so. I mean, this was a full-fledged game and worth it. That was incredible. So that is worth it. That's a good remaster. So, having said that, I mean, I really, guys, I want to know what your opinion is. What do you feel like are like good? What are good remasters? Especially when you got newer ones that have come out. Bayonetta came out. It came out in a dual pack. I think it was called Vengeance or something like that. I don't honestly remember because I never played the original. Um, but Bayonetta got a remaster. Um, Burnout Paradise just got a remaster. Saints Row the Third just got a remaster. Saints Row 4 got a Switch port. But are they worth it? Are you going to see a difference when you play these? Now, I did a little research on the ones like Burnout Paradise, and I saw the side by side videos. And yes, that one there's a decent difference. But is it worth full price? Is it worth the full price that you're going to pay for this remaster? A lot of people are playing it. If you're getting the enjoyment out of revisiting it, then for you it's worth it. But if you're really looking at, if you have the game already, is it worth you buying it again? That's the question that you need to keep in mind. Because what's wrong with your old consoles? Now, granted, that's a whole nother discussion too, if you can keep all your consoles, hooked up. But I just think that's something it was really I just think it was interesting to keep this in mind because and people are still clamoring for remasters, and that's what's really bothering me. People were like, "Oh, I want Mass Effect trilogy remasters, Dead Space remaster, Call of Duty's been getting remasters." It's like, come on. Don't get me wrong. Mass Effect is one of my all-time favorite games series. Like all three. I don't Mass Effect 2 was my favorite of the three, but it's almost impossible to separate them because I they all work as a whole so well. And but they look still so beautiful in that 360 PS3. Do I need a remaster right now? I don't think it's needed. I wouldn't mind. I would like it for it to come backwards compatible, maybe with some enhancements. I know Xbox One X does their well, Xbox One X does their sometimes enhancements to backwards compatible titles, but that's a little bit different. That's not quite a remaster. Um, but maybe next gen with what the hardware is supposed to do the next gen with the the Xbox Series X and the PS5. Oh my gosh, then I think the remasters would definitely be worth it. Like, there's no arguing. But that's 2 generations later. See where I'm trying to say? Like, I don't think it's worth it. I think people will jump on it and buy it now, and I don't think you're really getting a fair price out of it. I don't feel like you're getting your money's worth. Switch is kind of a double whammy to the people's pockets because Nintendo Switch can't handle every game that's coming out now. Can't handle all current gen games. So there's been an extra porting of last gen and kind of getting quote unquote a new coat of paint. The Saints Row the Third is a quote unquote remaster. But does the Switch remaster version, really look better than the 360 and PS3 version better? Does it? I don't know. And that's where I'm starting to wonder, like, I feel like you're getting hit twice. Like, why are you buying a quote unquote remaster that isn't even using current gen tech to its fullest, which would be the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro? Like, if you're gonna do a remaster or buy a remaster, wouldn't you want the best version of it? So I mean, you're paying $60 no matter what system you play it on. But graphically and speed and I mean remaster, the whole point of it now is to be look better than the original, to be better than the original, but you're getting the weakest version. It just I understand there's other factors, and again, this is part of a larger discussion I'm going to have later on this channel, but it's still kind of weird to me to think about it. And I know there's Switch collectors out there. They just collect the games even if they're not going to play them. They like that. They want a complete Switch collection of games, which is really ironic because Nintendo is really, I shouldn't say ironic, it's really interesting because Nintendo game collectors seem to be the only ones who do that. I don't know anybody who really says, or not that they aren't out there, but I really don't see like, oh, I got a complete 360 collection. I got a complete PS3 game collection. Nah, they go for Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, the Wii. Like Nintendo seems to be the collectible market. And Switch is no different, especially when you got things like limited run games, super rare games, and all those making limited run titles of only digital titles. So it's like they know you're gonna buy this remaster no matter what for the Switch because you're a collector. So there's money already in the bank for them. I just find it interesting, and I'm not against remasters, like I said. There are some that I named that are done really well, and I'm gonna name it. There are exceptions even from going one gen back. Nino Kune Wrath of the White Witch, the remaster. I mean, that was a PS3 title. I saw the remaster, and to me, that looks. Oh my! I haven't even finished it yet on the PS3. I'm like 13 hours in or something like that. And I don't even want to play. I want to go buy the PS4 version now and be like and start that because it just looks beautiful. So a remaster of a last gen game can be done right. Don't get me wrong, it can be done. But I also think it depends on the game you're working with and the love that the company has to really soup it up and make it worth your while. But again, now so I'm just curious what you guys think. Like, do you feel like the remaster hype train, so to speak, has gotten carried away? Do you feel like most of the remasters have been warranted and worth it? Do you feel like it's been a mixed bag? I really would like to know what you guys think. So, on that note, I'm going to call it an end. I only named a few games. There are a lot of remasters. Like I said, from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 to, uh, I mean, the Saints Row the Third. They're the Borderlands. The first Borderlands got a remaster, and honestly, I can't tell the difference. I really can't. So it just, and that's a game I absolutely love. Borderlands is an amazing first-person shooter. I don't see that. I just, it's already cell shaded, so I don't know how much more you're really gonna do to that. I know Nintendo has plans to release remasters of other Mario titles. I think Galaxy 1 and 2, Mario Sunshine. Those make sense, especially Sunshine. That was a GameCube game. The other two are Wii games. So these are games I can understand getting remasters if Nintendo really cleans them up and puts the love into them. There is no question about it. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for listening. Until next time, stay evil.